Told you were not going to get away with at least a few minutes of my time and hearing me. All right, so there are some balloons back there, and what I didn't get to start off by saying at the beginning was this is our 13th gathering, which means that we've gone beyond a year. We've actually hit just a year, which in itself is pretty impressive. I didn't think we were going to make it sometimes. This is the before. I want to spend a little bit of time talking to you about what this year has really resulted in, what it's looked like. So, January 15th, last year, 20 people met, and within a few short hours hammered out a shared mission for a member-run Freethought organization that would serve as a central nexus point to meet the educational, social, member-run, there we go, Freethought organization that would serve a central nexus point to meet the educational, social, and charitable needs of secular people and families within the Metroplex. The message was relatively simple. To create a positive impact on our shared world, our mission is to provide a community that values and promotes a free-thinking life, unencumbered by the biases of tradition, dogma, and authority, and that encourages people to live a reason and evidence-based life characterized by close friendship, ethical contemplation, critical thinking, community service, and the appreciation of scientific knowledge, an understanding of the universe, and our place in it. So thus, in a matter of weeks, these 20 were able to get off and running. Some gave up a lot in the hopes of very small gains, putting their money or sweat where their mouths were. The organization was at first riddled with uncertainty. What are we? Who's doing what? How are we different? What makes us different? What about families? What about the singles? What about the different services that we need to offer our community? How do we define our community? What's our purpose? And again, how are we going to pay for it? You'd be surprised what it takes to get a group like this going. I won't single out the 20 because we tend to try and not define or designate who they are, but you know who you are. Thank you. By joining forces with the Freethinkers of Dallas, we packed our first organizational event, wall to wall, a dinner to kick off the new organization at Maymay's that led to our first planning session for our gatherings. Amazingly, when we sat and talked about our gatherings, we talked about potentially 30 visitors. We were talking about having it at someone's home. Reality, a year ago, roughly 80 people, standing room only, in the rain, exactly. Our first wedding, first potluck. We finally decided to use some of our modest budget on Big Thicket at White Rock Lake. That brought more people together than we ever anticipated, nearly double. We celebrated a union of love as the Piskies led us into their lives when they decided to get married before us. We had something creative or educational for our kids to do, and of course, it was the dawn, again, of the wonderful potlucks. Enjoy the pictures. All right, so prior to March, it was clear that we were going to need a bigger venue. In March, we moved to Lake Highlands Recreational Center, where we set up shop for a few months watching the gatherings grow pegging well over 100 on many occasions. But of course, the first day we decided to have it at Lake Highlands, it snowed. That almost really didn't matter. About 40 to 50 people showed up anyway. And of course, having it at a recreational facility allowed us to open up more access to the children and the adults, things like basketball, where they get to really go and have some enjoyable time one-on-one. Okay, so since we strive to be more than a monthly meetup, we do have a lot of events outside of the gatherings. Our family and children's groups usually have outings ranging from skating to the museum. We've seen the organization bloom. And in regards to family, we've had, what, 2 births? 2 births so far? And, right, so the Fortons and Brad and Ginger, and then we're expecting 2 more, right? So. We wanted to bring people together, and we did. Monthly pub nights, game nights, and over 40 social outings listed, not to mention the informal on-the-fly events. Yep. And then July through August, we saw, of course, Benny and Michael. They also decided to get married with us at our July gathering. We saw yet another growth and chance to have several members partake in Red Cross training. We saw additionally up to 40 new people join. We also focus on education. This one is a little difficult. So some of the educational trips that we've had, outside of the gatherings as well, where we do have a lot of our special speakers come in, we've had Dinosaur Valley. Now, the trip to Dinosaur Valley, I definitely count as educational. However, the trip to the Creation Museum at Dinosaur Valley falls under entertainment. Yes, don't ever go back to Dinosaur Valley. Sort of. And of course, the Hitchens debate. Now, I could have done about an hour just copying from from Suzette's slides. So I'm not even going to attempt to recap everything that she's been able to spearhead for us. But of course, we've had the spruce ups at White Rock Lake, Cocktails for a Cause, the AIDS Supper Club, nursing home and volunteering, of course, charity garage sale. And oh, by the way, we will be having a blood drive immediately after this. So if anybody's, are they here yet? Yep, they're in the gym, ready. Okay. The gift that keeps on giving. It costs you nothing but a few minutes of your time. And yes, you'll see a lot of our children that do partake in our charity events as well. All right, so to date, I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time on this one, but to date, in September we moved to where we are now, at least until we hit yet another renovation. In November, we were visited by a film crew wanting to document what this right here is like. We had about 140 people show up for that one. Well, it's like reaching out through our communities, through our food drive events, book drives, and clothing drives. It's like dealing with any other community. We just don't believe. Members of the fellowship have also contributed to some amazing events that have garnered statewide and national, and even international attention, like the 3rd Annual Texas Freethought Convention and the DFW Corps Good Without God bus advertising campaign. Since our founding, we've added 408 new members to the meetup roster. We started with an acting board of about 7 people. We've expanded 13 to be more reflective of what the community really thinks is important. Throughout 2010, we held over 135 events, which brought in just shy of 4,000 participants. Over 1,000 people throughout the world have watched several of our videos, our gathering, and other events. Happy birthday. Now, normally I'd end it there. But, so what? So what? Everything that we've accomplished has been great. It's been wonderful. I consider myself privileged to be part of this organization. We come here, we meet, we take hands, and we share for a few hours, and some of us tend to disappear for a month. I get it, people have schedules. I travel all the time, but we've done a lot right. We've also made a lot of mistakes. But are we listening enough to the people that come here every single month, to every event that we have? Are we listening enough to you? Are we making a difference? Are we relevant? Are we relevant in your lives? We've got somewhat of a voice now, over 700 people that we can mobilize if we really needed to. And I'm sure if the cause was right, we could. What are we going to do with that? Some of you want more of some things and less than others. Why don't we all know that? Some of you want to stand up here and be heard instead of me. Why don't I know that? Some of you want us to be more active, some more social. Some want us to see us tone it down. Some of us want to see it ratchet up. Again, why don't we know this? Some want us to go in one direction, while others debate what our direction should be. But why can't we hear you? We've had a great year of growth, but I challenge you to help define a new year of direction. Zach is going to come up here in a few minutes and talk about elections after we get the kids done. Yes, I know I take too long. They're hungry? Okay. I'm going to ask the current board of the FoF board to stand, if you would. All right. So these are the people that we hold accountable today. That may change in the coming months. Here's a better question. What are you going to do to hold yourself accountable to the organization? We didn't get here by luck. Kind of sort of stumbled. But it's a member-run organization. He's going to go over the ballots. We're going to see a few new names. We need to see more. All right. That's enough for me.